So yeah, this is a series on our blog called "Today an Attorney Asked Me," or TAAM. And in this post, we're going over the question: how can we stop paying large referral fees for new cases and clients? So at Apricot Law, we speak to dozens of attorneys each month, and lately we've been hearing the following question way more frequently: how can we cut out the middleman, get new clients and cases directly, and stop paying these large referral fees, 33% in some cases? And we hear variations of this question, obviously. Some people kind of ask it directly. Other people are sort of complaining that all of their cases and new clients are coming from referrals, and they would love to bypass the middleman and get straight to the source and be the source of the leads and have the leads and cases going directly to them. This question typically comes from attorneys with well-established law firms that get most of their business from referrals and have to pay a large chunk of the revenue out in referral fees. I'm sure you can relate if you have a law firm. Let's say, for example, your law firm has been in business since 1965. Today, you're regularly getting new cases referred to you by newer firms that seem to have the marketing side of things down. They're the ones people are calling first, and then the newer, less experienced attorney, is farming these cases out to bigger, more experienced firms like yours. The problem is that these referred cases are expensive, and these referral sources can dry up overnight and without notice. Maybe they decide to go with someone else, or for whatever reason, they dry up without notice. There are a number of ways to obtain these leads and cases directly at a lower cost per acquisition and more reliably than referrals. So how can you solve this problem and become the lead source? To start getting more cases and clients directly so you can stop paying referral fees and stop relying on referrals for new business, you need to find a lead generation strategy that works for your law firm. Obviously, to become the source, you have to find a strategy of lead generation that works for you, that brings in consistent lead flow. Qualified leads, people that represent your ideal client base. So let's discuss today two possible solutions: organic SEO and Google Ads or pay-per-click PPC advertising. The most effective strategy for law firms is organic search engine optimization, or SEO, and content marketing. And I said effective for a reason. A content-driven SEO strategy allows you to invest a reasonable amount each month that will over time pay you a recurring dividend of incoming leads, clients, and cases. So you can pick the budget, and we'll go into that a little bit further down here in a minute. The most reliable lead generation strategy for law firms is paid search via Google Ads. So one is the most cost effective. The other one is the most reliable. The upside to paid search advertising is you can expect leads to start coming in within the first 30 to 60 days. As soon as the campaign is up and running, if you have a PPC agency like our partner firm, the one that handles all of our paid ads and Google ad campaigns, if this campaign is set up properly, you can expect to start seeing leads coming pretty quickly within the first 30, 60, sometimes 90 days. The downsides to paid search are, number one, there's a large investment from the beginning. And number two, the minute you stop paying is the minute they stop producing. Obviously, once you stop paying, they turn off the ads, and your ads are no longer showed to visitors or searchers, so you stop getting traffic. For a personal injury firm, for example, you might pay $1,500 to $2,000 per qualified booked appointment, and that's from our partners' data and for information with some of his clients right now. So that's what they're paying per qualified booked appointment. But depending on your firm's goals and timeline, this might be a viable option that's still less expensive than paying for referrals. SEO has its downsides too, so we'll get into that. The two major downsides of organic SEO are it can take between 3 to 6 months to start generating calls. So it takes a little bit longer than PPC. And number two, you're still relying on a platform that you don't own that can change in any instant and without notice. By the way, other platforms like Google Ads, Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, etc., share this fickle characteristic. They can also decide to close your account, stop sending you traffic, change their algorithm, etc., and without notice. Regardless of the platform you choose to use, the goal is to build a house list of prospects and buyers that you can help, serve, and add value to as quickly as possible, so you're never reliant on any one platform. That should be the goal in any of these platforms, any of these marketing strategies should be to build your own house list, so you don't have to rely on these platforms. And the most effective platform, because you can build at your own pace, the traffic continues to come in even if you stop investing in it. The cost per acquisition should be lower than Google Ads or PPC in the long run, or typically is, and you can use the content produced for dozens of other purposes. So it's not just for the search engine, you're also creating content for users that you can use throughout your marketing funnel on other channels and in other sales ways. And this one is organic search engine optimization and content marketing. Outside of the benefits listed above, this is kind of a side note. I believe that SEO and content marketing are effective because with the right content, you can be extremely useful to people before and sometimes without ever meeting them. You can help your ideal client avoid dangers, seize opportunities, and solve their problems and challenges. And I believe the person or company that does that the best will always win. Again, if you have a slightly longer time frame, organic SEO might be a way for you to over time, start replacing some of your referrals with cases you generate on your own. SEO, as you know, as you should know, or may or may not know, is a more long-term strategy that will allow you to build an asset in your website that has a value that you can transfer, sell, that builds that value in that asset over time, as opposed to other platforms that, like I said, is more like renting, where the minute you stop paying is the minute they stop sending you traffic. If you decide to invest in a long-term SEO campaign for your website, what's the plan of action? So we've established that this is the most cost-effective way to do it, to replace and stop paying some of those referral fees. And so now that we're on board with that, what's the plan of action? And there are 2 trust factors Google looks at when deciding whether or not to refer a visitor to you or to one of your competitors' websites instead. So always remember that Google is now the one referring you visitors. This is very similar to a person referring visitors to you. You have to take care of those people. These 2 factors have been in place since Google's inception. Yes, the weight that Google places on each factor has changed, but the factors themselves have not changed. These 2 trust factors are content and links, other websites pointing to yours as the authority on a topic. The third factor would be technical website factors preventing people from using your website. But we're assuming here that your website is not riddled with errors and people can actually use your site. So the 2 factors that remain and have always been in place for Google are content and links. And this is the way you build trust with Google, is that they refer people to you to answer a specific question or because of a certain search. And it's your job to satisfy that searcher. So then Google's like, okay, this firm, this website satisfied the person I sent over there. They didn't come back with unanswered questions, so I'm going to send them more visitors. Right now, content is more important than links. So let's talk about that. So out of the 2 factors, content right now is more important than links. This site, topseofactors.com, shares up-to-date information from the company's SEO software, Quora, which looks for a correlation between top-ranking websites and ranking factors. At the time that I'm typing this, the software measures over 129,000 SEO factors on countless websites across the internet. And as it says on their site, in quotes, the Quora shared data contains over 300 million SEO factor measurements, and grows hourly. For the first time since I've been following this, there's no link-related factors in the top 10. The first link-related factor is at number 11, and 8 out of the top 10 factors are content-related. So I want to go through these just really quickly. The only 2 that are not content-related is that domains with a .com, .net, or .org, or domains with a .com specifically are correlated again with top rankings. So it used to be where other, new vanity domain names, I guess that's what you call it. It's not the top level domain like .com, .net, or .org, but it's things like .law, .pro, and these other things that have been coming out over the past couple of years. Those are not as strong anymore because it's saying that when Quora goes to the entire internet, .com, .net, or .org are still correlated with top rankings. The rest of the top 10 factors correlated with top rankings across the internet, not just for law, are all content related. Please note that numbers 14 and 16 are number of top 100 shared factors used and number of top 200 shared factors used. That means that Google's algorithm will never look at just one or a few factors. So focusing on the number of words published on your website, for example, will probably not help much in and of itself. So just always something to think about when optimizing your site for search is that it's never going to be just one factor. It's always a combination of factors that shows Google that you're a real site and that you're doing things right. You're not just optimized for search or for one factor, but you're actually useful to users and you have a bunch of these things in place. Once your website becomes the go-to source of information for your ideal prospects and clients, Google and other search engines will begin sending these visitors to you instead of to that younger, less experienced attorney down the road. And that's what we're looking for here, and that's the answer to our question. Conversely, if your website is very thin on content, what reason does Google have to refer its searchers to you? We kind of went through this already. And if Google did send visitors to you and many of these visitors immediately bounced, that wouldn't look very good on Google. They sent someone to your business and that person returned with their questions unanswered. So imagine sending somebody to a business, a physical brick and mortar shop, and what they wanted was not there. And they just turned around and left. Next time around, Google will send those visitors to a different website, a different business that does a better job of answering their questions. So steps to growing your website into a topical authority and to gain Google's trust. So you can cut out the middleman, start attracting new leads, cases, and clients directly and avoid paying some of these referral fees. Number one, brainstorm all of the questions your ideal client would have about their current problem or challenge. And by the way, this is pretty loosely based on the book They Ask You Answer, which I think is fantastic. It's the author is Marcus Sheridan, and I believe it's an excellent plan for content marketing and for the topics that you come up with and how to be useful to web visitors in particular. And also, aside from They Ask You Answer framework or methodology, there's also some more SEO related things in here. So pay attention here. Brainstorm all the lawyer keywords you'd love to rank for. Brainstorm all the reasons someone would not choose to work with you so you can address these obstacles and objections up front and so you can disqualify bad fit people. Just as a side note, people are much more interested in kind of problems with the service, things that can go wrong, obstacles, than they are with the positives of your service. So although you want to put out the positives of your company, of your law firm, and all the positive reviews, people are searching for negative things or negative outcomes or risks to avoid more so than they are the positive. Just think about when you search for reviews for a place, you're typically drawn to negative reviews first over positive reviews. People are usually searching for the negatives and not the positives. So number 4, download your top competitor sitemaps to see what pages and posts are on their site. This is a big one. So at the bottom of a site, you might see a sitemap link. That's typically for Google. They're putting it there so Google can then follow that link and see all of the pages on the site and kind of crawl and give credit for all of the pages and posts on a site. But for us, you can go to that link, and sometimes it's if they don't have a link at the bottom of their site in their footer, You can sometimes get to it by typing in their domain.com/sitemap.xml. So anyway, if you can find the sitemap at the bottom of a site, click on that link and you'll see all the pages and posts on these top ranking firms' site. So this gives you a really good starting ground or starting point for content topics. You can see what your competitors are putting on their site, and you should be doing the same exact thing, especially if they're successful, if they're ranking well, and maybe even if they're some of those less experienced attorneys that seem to be getting all the leads and referring them to you. A good idea would be to go and look at their sitemap and see what kind of content they have on their site. 5, start producing, publishing, and sharing content around these topics. Build a habit of producing high quality content at your law firm. This strategy will take care of the content factors directly, those SEO factors that we talked about, content and links. And the useful content you produce will naturally attract some links from other websites. Once your website is filled with useful content, you'll likely have plenty of people contacting your law firm for help. And at that point, if you want to supercharge the process and scale this thing, you can go out and find big authority websites to link to you and to your content. When done in this order, links will be like pouring gasoline into a fire. Below is a big list of keywords and topics to get you started. These are for a personal injury attorney's website. If you're an attorney that focuses on a different area of law, you can use this list as an idea generator to make a list relevant to your practice area. Make notes, like you can print it out, make notes, mark down the topics and keywords your law firm does not want to handle. Cross those out, add new topics that come to mind as you review this list. Also new questions. So questions, I use ChatGPT to come up with some of these questions. I said that you're an accident victim, you're looking for an attorney, you want, and I listed the outcome, I described the outcome that these people want, which is the biggest settlement possible in the quickest amount of time possible with the least amount of aggravation or headache possible. And then I asked, what questions would you be researching online? And this is what ChatGPT came up with, some of these anyway. How do I choose the best personal injury attorney? What should I look for in a personal injury lawyer? Questions to ask a personal injury lawyer. How much will it cost to hire a personal injury attorney? How do personal injury attorneys get paid? Contingency fees versus hourly rates. So that's not something that somebody might ask directly, but it's definitely something that you want to cover on that page. That's why it's a sub bullet. What is the average settlement amount for my type of injury? This is a buyer question. Like, how much will I get for my injuries? And one that you should definitely cover on your site. What kind of compensation can I expect for my injuries? Just a variation of that. So remember up in the factors in that screenshot that we had above, a couple of those were variations of the keyword. So not just the keyword that somebody's typing in or you want to rank for, but variations of it. How long does a personal injury lawsuit take to settle? What steps are involved in filing a personal injury claim? I'm not going to read all of these, maybe a couple more. What are common mistakes to avoid when filing a personal injury claim? So again, a negative, something to avoid. And these are all the questions that I came up with. I think there's a couple dozen here. And please add more that you hear from your clients and prospects, things that you hear from people about personal injury, about your practice area. Add them here as great topics to be covered on your site. These are buyer intent keywords, things like personal injury lawyer, truck accident lawyer, injury lawyer, wrongful death lawyer, dog bite lawyer, bicycle accident lawyer, burn injury lawyer, negligence lawyer, car accident lawyer, of course. And you would cover these, and plus you would add the location before these that you want to rank for, such as the city's name. Let's say it's New York City, NYC, car accident lawyer. And then within New York City, you would break it down into the boroughs and areas of New York City: Harlem, Staten Island, Brooklyn, the Bronx, Queens, etc. So you would add those locations in front of these keywords, these buyer intent keywords, or these lawyer-based keywords, and you would have a huge list of keywords that would be awesome for you to rank for because they directly bring in people that are looking for an attorney. So Some of these are to answer questions and to cover the topic entirely for users. And the other part of this, the other purpose of these, now what we're getting into here, is to cover the entity and the topic as thoroughly as possible to really show Google that you're the topical authority on the given topic. And that, by the way, entities, LSI keywords were also, if you noticed, part of that screenshot of the top 10 ranking factors. So that's what we're getting into here. So number one, car accident claims, how to make a car accident insurance claim, how you can make a car accident claim without a police report. Can you make a car accident claim without insurance? So some of these, I get it. You're not going to want these types of cases, but it's really important to cover them anyway and to be as open and honest and transparent on the site as possible. Even saying, if it's not a case that you handle, just say so. But if people are searching these types of things and Google considers it within the discourse of that topic, you have to cover it to show Google that you are a topical authority on that topic. After a car accident, what to do after a car accident that wasn't your fault. How to prove you're not at fault in a car accident. How long should I be sore after a car accident? Types of car accident injuries. And these, again, this is a great thing to do if you're stuck and you just want help, is to use AI. Use ChatGPT. Does a really good job of covering the entity, covering a topic entirely. Just continue to ask questions about what other topics should I cover if I were to be a topical authority, covering this topic as thoroughly as possible. Causes of car accidents: speeding, tailgating, distracted driving, drunk driving, aggressive driving. So this is all part of Apricot Law's layered momentum technology. That's our secret sauce and the most reliable way to start ranking in Google quickly and over time ramp up to those bigger keywords that you want. And we're really layering trust with Google. Instead of going after the top keywords that you want right away and directly, like location plus car accident lawyer, our approach is more systematic and strategic than that, because we understand that Google is not going to rank you right away for those bigger keywords. And targeting those bigger keywords or doing this out of order is just going to lead to frustration, and you're not going to see as much results as you should be seeing. So layer one will cover the questions and the top 3 to 5 buyer intent keywords that you want to rank for the most. And we put these in layer one because we want to build the foundation of trust, that we're answering people's questions. And also we want to show Google that we're in this business, that, hey, we're not going to turn it away. We are a personal injury lawyer in New York City, and we would love these cases. Also, we do it first in layer one with the top buyer intent keywords, because we want to give Google a chance to crawl those as soon as possible, because it takes a while for it to get in the index, just to get into Google's index, let alone start moving up in the ranking results. Layer two will cover the rest of the buyer intent keywords that you'd like to rank for. Layer three is about going deep into each topic until each one is covered in great detail. In the above list, if you want to rank for car accident related terms, you'd publish articles and posts on the subtopics under car accident lawyer that we just went over. And then you could do that for each and every one of those topics above. Things like dog bite lawyer or medical malpractice lawyer, if you take those cases. So each of those major topics or buyer intent keywords, go as deep as possible in layer three in each one before moving on to the next one. Once you believe you've covered this topic better than any other website has, move on to the next big topic and go deep there. Like we just said, wrongful death lawyer, truck accident lawyer might be next. Doing this out of order or in a random order will lead to slow progress and frustration. Layering trust will ensure you're seeing progress and results along the way, and you're not spending all your time and energy on terms that are out of your league. So this is This is a system and a strategy and an order that allows Google to start sending you traffic for lower competition terms that are still super valuable. Longer tail means that less and less attorneys are going to be targeting those, less websites are going to be targeting those. So even though they're longer tail, less people search them, they can still produce excellent cases. You're starting to get some traffic. Now what? Okay, so we have this in place. We're starting to get traffic. And now what? Calls are starting to trickle in from your content marketing and SEO efforts. But there's still holes in your marketing funnel that need to be filled. So this is just like an overarching look at a plan of, again, we're getting back to the original question of how do I stop paying these referral fees and become the source that people go to directly. So most of your website visitors will come and go without taking action. You don't know who these people are, and for some reason they moved on without contacting you. And remember the number one goal. The goal is to build a house list of prospects and buyers that you can help serve and add value to as quickly as possible, so you're not reliant on any one platform. So ways to follow up and capture a portion of the people that don't call you right away. Retargeting or remarketing campaigns. So after placing a few lines of code on your site, you can advertise to your visitors on other sites they visit after yours. The best part is you will pay a fraction of what you'd normally pay to advertise to these people because they are considered your visitors. Newsletter, email marketing campaigns. Give away something of value in exchange for someone's email address. Our favorite thing to use is a lead magnet, is another word for something that you give away in return for somebody's information, is a book that we recently published on Amazon's Kindle Direct Publishing. Our book is called SEO for Law Firms. I can't think of another tool that has so dramatically improved the perception of our company in the eyes of our target audience than this book has. People used to get on initial consultations with us skeptical and with their walls up. Now they get on calls with us more receptive to what we have to say. And now they look to us as experts that can help solve their biggest challenges, all because of this book. As soon as we became authors, we have a different feel. People perceive us differently. Start capturing people's information on your website by giving away something useful, something that they can actually use right away that will bring them one step closer to their ideal outcome. Capture information of people simply because they visited a website. So this is brand new and cutting edge. I've never talked about this publicly, and we're just starting to share this with our best clients. Not many people know about this, and not many people are doing this yet. So pay close attention here. This is cutting edge stuff that you're not really hearing anywhere else just yet. We now have the ability to gather people's information legally and ethically, of course, from other sites they've opted into, simply because they visited your website. So they've gone onto other sites. They've opted into these other sites to receive marketing information, to have the cookie on their site. And simply because they now visit your site or other websites in search of information related to your practice areas, we have the ability to gather those people's name and information, name and email address, working email address, amazing stuff. It gets downloaded to a sheet. The way that works is you can just pay per lead that we get, per opt-in lead that you can email. And these are just people that have visited your site, or a little more expensive, a few dollars more per lead. But nothing like PPC or anything like that. I think it's about $2 per lead for the people that are on your website, that just visited your website, and around $8 or $10 for people that are searching for relevant information on other websites. So amazing stuff here. I hope you're paying attention. This is the secret sauce. This is cut to the chase, something that will move the needle, cut your existing advertising costs. If you're already doing PPC, you can start to build an email list really, really quickly of interested people that have been on your site or on other related sites. And simply adding the names and email addresses of website visitors to a database might be the fastest way to build your in-house list to date. Take advantage of this before other people figure it out. So it's not just showing people ads on other sites after they visited yours. That was That was the hot thing about 10 years ago, and it's still great. We just talked about it up above. Now you can actually get their information there and contact them directly. How to reach more people with the same content that you've produced. So moving on. At this point, you have a good amount of content on your site. You can take that content and turn it into different formats for use on different platforms, just like we're doing here. We're taking a post, turning it into a video. In other words, you're repurposing and reusing the content published on your website. This way you can reach prospects however he or she likes to consume that content. Some people would rather watch a video or listen to audio than reading text on a screen, or they might consume content in bed and reading the screen keeps their spouse up at night. So video and audio are better options for them. Some people prefer YouTube over Google search. Turning one piece of content into a dozen different versions will cast a wider net and reach more people. This is also how you can use AI tools to take a video and chop it up into little shorts. And you have content for your social media channels, for example. Here are a few formats to consider. Your text-based article, video, long form and short form, audio/podcast, graphics, memes, infographics, slide decks. You want to cast as big a net as possible and be in as many places as possible so that you can be in front of your people the way they like to consume information. How much should I invest in my long-term SEO campaign? So switching gears now. How much to invest is a topic that warrants a long dedicated article of its own. Here are a few things to consider when determining a budget for your long-term SEO campaign. So set a budget that you can consistently stick with for at least 2 years. Again, it's a long-term strategy, so you want to plan for long-term. Once you start seeing results, don't stop. These results are often the tip of the iceberg. Focus on creating content that's helpful to your ideal client. You can always optimize useful content for search. It's much harder to make content only optimized for search useful. Useful content can do a lot of the SEO work for you by attracting visitors, driving engagement, and attracting links. Focus on publishing as much useful content as possible with the budget you set for yourself. Once you start signing cases and clients from your website, increase your monthly budget as long as you are committed to sticking with this new, larger budget. That's the key. Consistency over time is key. Use the increased budget to ramp up content production and to start building high-quality authority links. Some of the best links can only be obtained by paying the website owner for access to their site. So regardless of whatever anybody else tells you, you shouldn't buy links. I mean, one way or another, you're paying for these links. You're either paying for the content production, the people that produce the content, or just simply the access to these sites. So that's just the way it is. The monthly budget will determine how much content you can produce and therefore how quickly you can start seeing results and the magnitude of those results. Google has said directly, not that I always listen to what Google says, but this is common sense, I think, is that a site with 10 pages is not going to rank as well as a site with 1,000 pages. It's just no possible way that they can send the same number of visitors to a small site as they can to a large site. Most search queries are long, 5 words or more, and not your most coveted lawyer search terms. This means you can attract visitors in any market, even the most competitive markets like personal injury, with a reasonable yet consistent monthly budget. So lastly, I just said, do you disagree with anything we covered here? Just click on this, the YouTube if you're not on YouTube, and leave me a comment. Let me know if you disagree with any of this. Either way, thanks for watching. This has been Nick Kringus with Apricot Law. Thanks again.